there's these myths about forgiveness that I find so common. The first is that forgiveness is a feeling. Let me just tell you very clearly, forgiveness is not a feeling. And if you wait for your feelings, you will just stay waiting. Friends, what's happened because we live in a feelings-led culture, we allow that to come and break our thinking down into places that are lies. You will never enter into forgiveness because you feel it. But what you have to know about the nature of your heart is your heart will follow your covenants. And so when you step into forgiveness, which I'll get to an invitation of what forgiveness is, but it is a covenant. It is a declaration that you will follow through until the end. And as you step into that covenant, your heart will follow. It may not be tomorrow, it may take some time, but your heart will come to pass. Your heart will never be the one that can lead you. It is your covenants that will lead you. The second myth is that forgiving is the same as reconciling. That to enter into forgiveness, reconciliation must be had. We have to understand, as beautiful as reconciliation is, and as much as reconciliation is the desire of God, forgiveness and reconciliation are two very different things. We have to be a people that no matter the consequence and the fallout or the possibility that reconciliation may or may not be happening, to not allow forgiveness to die in the midst of it. Forgiving is excusing. So I guess if forgiveness is just acting like something didn't happen, or forgiveness means there aren't consequences, or forgiveness is acting like something didn't happen to me, it's almost like just this great excuse. Not true. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiving is not acting like something didn't happen. Forgiving isn't canceling consequences from painful choices we make or that others make. Forgiveness isn't looking at somebody and excusing their activity, or often what we do is we want to excuse our own in our request for forgiveness. Forgiveness is actually seeing the full weight as much as we can of the decisions we've made and that others have made towards us. It's just what we choose to do with it is what makes it forgiveness or not. Many of us, whether we admit it or not, we feel like forgiveness makes us weak. Revenge is a power position. Withholding is a power position. If I can keep this one tether of what you did to me, then when I need to use it, I can. Oh, it's the convincing of the lies of the enemy. To believe that forgiveness makes you weak would mean that you would believe Jesus is the weakest person who ever lived. I would argue that Jesus is the strongest person who ever lived, and he exemplified that strength, and he changed the world with that strength, and forgiveness is a strength we must recapture. We view forgiveness as a one-time act. So you hurt me, and then we come and we have this reconciliation moment, and I say, I forgive you, and then I move on. Forgiveness is a one-time declaration, but it's going to require the contending to keep your heart in alignment with the truths that you have said. Because guess what, friends? When you've been hurt to certain degrees, you will sit with that person in sincerity, say, I forgive you, and you'll wake up in the morning and the debt will still be there. But forgiveness is a promise to a trajectory for however long it takes. I will keep taking the debt that is now in front of me and taking it back to the person it actually belongs to. Which forgiveness is making the choice to remove it from the person who created it. And 6, forgiveness depends on the other person admitting they're wrong. No, it doesn't. Reconciliation certainly does, but forgiveness doesn't. Because we want to be justice keepers, because we want to defend ourselves, because we don't trust the defense of Jesus. We withhold forgiveness until somebody can actually articulate the full weight of what they have done, not recognizing that we're only living in the participation of forgiveness through revenge, not actually opening up our hearts to the radical generosity of Jesus. We are people who can move towards forgiveness, even where the other person chooses to, doesn't know how to, or never even knows the weight of what they have done against us. We have to be a people who begin to move towards true forgiveness.